Hey, welcome to another Alpha Efficiency YouTube video. Today I'll be talking about WordPress plugins and how they're affecting your website performance. I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to drop some serious good advice on you. I think you're going to take a lot of value out of it. So the idea behind this video came right after I finished the conversation with one of my dear clients. They were very trigger happy and they're like, I want to get the list of all the plugins that we want to get on our site. And I was like, backtrack, stop, pause for a second. Are the plugins that you want to update to your site, are they verified? Are these plugins the ones that are really worth your time and effort and energy to be put on your site? So I'll make a distinction between a couple of different plugin categories, and I'll give you 3 reasons why it's not a good idea to always go with a plugin first approach. So plugins are great when you don't have time to code something out and you need some certain feature of a website or a functionality that will elevate and enhance your user experience of the visitors of your site. However, not all plugins are created equal. There's multiple categories of plugins and some of them are very well maintained. They follow the WordPress update cycle, and in doing so, they're providing a lot of value and you don't end up having issues with them. The problematic ones are the plugins that are published like a couple of years ago and they didn't have a developer maintaining their GitHub repo and not following the WordPress update cycle. And this problem of discontinuity between the WordPress updates and the plugin updates is leading us to a very big problem, which means your website is exposed to a security risk. Like if a plugin is not frequently updated, then what happens is that hackers find these vulnerabilities due to outdated code bases and outdated dependencies that the plugins were built upon. And due to that, your website can be exposed to risk. So before, when we didn't have this like reduction of the plugins as a as a mindset in our maintenance approach, when we didn't have this thought process, what was happening, especially at the early stages of pandemic when the hacking was like through the roof for all the sites, we've encountered the increased number of hackings of our servers where there were plentiful plugins, and it was happening frequently. So having like WordPress in and of itself is not that much of a security risk as having too many plugins, especially unupdated plugins. So when you are trying to build additional functionality, you should come from a point of, can I code this out by myself? Can we have a custom code that's rudimentary, very bare bones, that's going to do exactly what we need it to do? Because when you're installing a plugin, you're installing all these other features that plugin has that you potentially do not need, which is slowing down the code base. So the 3 reasons why you shouldn't why you shouldn't jam-pack your website with unnecessary plugins. Number 1, security. As I previously mentioned, 50% of security issues on WordPress websites come from plugins themselves. The second one, plugin conflicts. So when you have a disconnect between the WordPress version and the plugin itself, your website can crash. This is typical for websites like Elementor that are using plugins like Elementor, WordPress Bakery, and Divi. So just like skip those plugins, and you will avoid these website crashes that are coming from WordPress version and a plugin version conflict. Or when you have a lot of plugins, you'll have a disconnect between the plugins themselves. You know, the code base of one plugin is interjecting in the code base of the other plugin, and they're like creating bugs over your site. And the third reason, and our most important reason, is the site speed. The more plugins you have, the slower your website is. The slower your website is, the less organic traffic is coming to your site. The less organic traffic you get, the less money you make. So click delete on those unknown plugins that you don't really need. Make sure you clean your WordPress up and keep it fast, keep it safe, and make money. Have a good one, guys.